What's up, guys? What's going on? How are you guys doing today? You welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Adeyemi Olowoshagba. Now, if you've never been here before, if you've never come across any of my videos before, well, you're welcome. Please, I need you to, before going further, please subscribe to this channel, like this video, and share with everyone you know. I'm only trying to build a community of film lovers, a community of film buffs, a community of Nollywood lovers, a Nollywood entertainment lovers, Nigerian entertainment lovers who love to just talk about films. You know, that's basically what I'm trying to do here. And if you want to be a part of this community, please don't hesitate. I want you to be a part of this community. So subscribe to this channel, like this video, watch all my previous videos, share your thoughts on any of these videos, and let's just keep growing together. Very, very important. Growth is important. So I need you to be a part of this so I can also grow. Thank you so much once again for being here. Now, to the business of the day. I'm going to be reviewing The Black Book, a film produced and directed by Editi Effiong, who I think did a brilliant work. Credit to him. Big shout out to Editi Effiong and the Anako film, Anako film production team, everyone who worked on this project, from the actors to the crew. Big shout out to you guys. I mean, this film is trending in over 30 countries across the world. Literally number 4 in the globe on Netflix. I think it's number 1 in Nigeria, number 1 in so many other African countries. It was number 1 in US. Netflix US, I think it was number 1 in Netflix US and so many other countries in Europe. So big congratulations to the film producers and the directors and everyone who was a part of this amazing history-making Nollywood film titled The Black Book. You guys did a fantastic work. So here today, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on what I feel, my thoughts on what the film is about, the good, the bad, and well, I don't think there's any ugly, but there's a good and there's a bit of not so good, you know. So I'm just going to be here sharing my thought. Now, nobody should take anything personal. Please don't take anything personal. I believe that if I spend my time to watch a film, I have a right to share my thoughts on the film. So let's not take anything personally. This is a space where we are allowed to be ourselves and be honest, you know. I'm going to say all the really nice things about the film. And of course, I'm going to say some of the not so good things that I think or feel about the movie. So let's dive right into it. Number 1 of the things that I think I loved about the film is the story. This story is about a man who sadly and unfortunately lost his son, his only son, to the brutal hands of the Nigerian police for mistaking identity, or because of intentional mistaken identity, you know. And that is the story, and it's a story of vengeance, because apparently this man is an ex-military man who was part of one of the darkest regime of the Nigerian military in the 80s. I mean, he was part of almost everything: assassins, coup d'etats, all manner of things. And this is a man who has literally given up on that life. But unfortunately, because of the death of his son, he's literally been dragged back into it. And this is a man who has given his life to Christ, by the way. You're going to have to find out the rest in the film. So then we now have the unveiling of so many layers and plot twists in the film as the story, you know, continued to progress. So you're gonna have to go and watch it to discover all these things. But why I said I like the story is that this is a very unique story. Number 1, because of the fact that it touches on a very social issue that we've been dealing with in Nigeria for the past, I think, 5 years, since 2020, about 4 to 5 years now, since of course the EndSARS protest that happened in 2020, which is a result or a response to all the damages that the bad eggs in the Nigerian police have caused all over these years, you know. And it's like a reaction to it, and people came out to protest and everything. This film literally touches, especially at the beginning of the film, it literally touches on this kind of things that this section of those bad eggs in the police, you know, office, in the police department, you know, do. I mean, killing people for no reason, brutalizing people, arresting people on false accusations. And, I just like the fact that it did that. It also touches on so many things that happened in the 80s about the Nigerian military, godfatherism in the Nigerian military, betrayal in the Nigerian military, betrayal of friendship. It also touches on love. It touches on friendship. It touches on investigative journalism as well. These are issues that the film really, really strongly touched on, and I liked it. I like different layers that the story of the film has. I was really, really impressed that they were able to stretch, the story in that light. That was something that I really, really loved. Number 2 of the things that I like in this film, of course, is the production design and the costume design. I think it is a beautiful work. I mean, as a filmmaker, I always say this about films. If you can sort out production design, costume design, set design before the film, if you can sort that out before the film, trust me, the potential of your film looking like $1 million is high. If you can sort production design, costume design, set design before the film. And when I mean sort it out, you do it meticulously, you do it so well. Trust me, the potential of your film looking like $1 million is very, very high, because you've literally paid attention to all the major details that you need to sort out in terms of color palette, in terms of costume design, color management, and color matching, and all these things, which is something I think they did very well in this film, because I liked all the costumes that RMD wore. It showed it was well profiled, good character development, particularly for his costumes. It showed that this guy is an ex-military because of the colors he chooses: gray, green, dark shades of colors and everything. I never saw any bright color on him, which I was really, really impressed about. The same with the girl who was the journalist, who is Adelaoye. I liked her costume as well. It shows she's this Afrocentric investigative journalist based in Lagos, Nigeria, who loves her work, the way she comes off, the way she dresses. I love the press office of where she worked in the had Taiwo Ajayi set as well. I love the production design, the set in that place. I love the house they chose to give RMD in this film. That shows that they did a lot of homework. For a man like that, he likes a low profile, limited noise life, basically, if that English is correct. But he's a low profile guy, so would rather live in the suburbs, in a quiet environment, with an house where you won't even predict the kind of person that lives in the house, by the way. So I loved that about his house. I love the set design for everything, even the set design in Kaduna, where they went to film the northern side of the story. I loved everything about the set, even the throwback, the flashback, all the sets in the flashback. I loved everything. I can't really mention everything right here, but of course, if you watch the film, you will understand what I'm saying. The set design, the production design, the costume design, I think it was fantastic. It was really, really good, actually. Yeah. Now, the third thing that I think I love about this film is the cinematography and the color grading. Now, the truth is that if your production design and your set design and your costume design is well planned and put together, and all the colors are well aligned, trust me, color grading is going to be easier. That's the way it works, in my opinion. You can't say you don't do a proper production design and you want your color grading to be the best. No, it will be good, but it will not be the best. But for this film, I think it was spectacular. I think the color grading was brilliant, and I believe that the set design and the production design played a huge role in helping the colorists to achieve a fantastic look for the film. So the color grade, I think it was fantastic. Now, cinematography as well. Even though I had a minor challenge with some aspects of the cinematography that has to do with the storytelling from the cinematic point of view, the framing of the shots, the angle of the shots, the camera angles, the movements here and there, I loved the cinematography. It was distinct, it was clean, it was neat. There were no tacky shots. There were no shots where you're wondering, you're not seeing the shot and you're wondering, what is this shot about? I liked that. I liked the fact that, the cinematography was not exceptional. It was good. I like the fact that the cinematography was good and the color grading was good. I think they did a brilliant work. Now, another thing I want to talk about is the props. Yes, a lot of people don't talk about props in film, but I will talk about the props. Why I want to talk about the props is because of the details the minor details here and there, starting with the guns, starting with the when they took us into the office of the chief editor of the magazine or the newspaper where Adelaoye's character worked in, the hat tie where Jaila set. I mean, I loved the details in the props, the documents on her table, the walls, the details in RMD's living room as well, the way you were arranged, all those little details, even the guns that were used. It shows that this is Nigeria. You cannot have clean guns. Do you understand? This is only in Nigeria that I've never seen a clean gun with any police officer, except for maybe all these DSS and SSS Secret Service guys. But apart from that, from regular police, you can never see a clean gun with them, and which is something I liked about this. All the guns were good. They looked like it were in Nigeria. Guns by Nigerian police guns, so that is something that I really was impressed with. So I love the props, the details here and there, the minor details, the costume, the cars, the bus that the police officers used. I liked it because that is what SARS guys, that's actually what they use. They just used to they just collect one bus from one bus driver and start using it to raid people and arrest people for no reason. Another thing that I liked about this film is the casting. I mean, it's an ensemble cast. Big shout out to the casting director. I think it was Kemi Lala Akindoju. She did a fantastic work with the casting. I mean, I saw the likes of RMD, Olumide Oworo, Adelaoye, Taiwo Ajayi, Lycett, Kelechi Udegbe, Ike Chukwu, Alex Osifo, someone I haven't seen in a while in a Nollywood film. I saw Alex Osifo, I saw Femi Branch, I saw Eretiola Doyle. I saw so many amazing actors. I was really impressed with the cast list. It showed that they did a lot of work in terms of casting these people. And what I also liked about the casting is the fact that you had square pegs and square holes, round pegs and round holes. Do you understand? Everyone that was casted for these roles were casted for this purpose, particularly RMD. I mean, what I loved about casting RMD for this role is that this is the first time in a long time where you'd seen RMD not playing the predictable roles like one rich man, sugar daddy, big man that is controlling some boys or something. No, I mean, it's funny how some people on Twitter are comparing RMD to the new John, calling RMD the new John Wick, but I won't call RMD the new John Wick. I will call RMD the new Liam Neeson because of their age bracket and age range. RMD is older than John Wick, to be honest, but RMD is in that Liam Neeson age category or age bracket, So I liked the fact that you casted him for a role that would push him. He was really pushed. I like the fact that I saw him in a different element, in this film. So big shout out to them for casting RMD. Of course, Adelaoye, who was also a shining light in this film. I think she did a fantastic work in this film, and I'm really proud of Adelaoye because I met Adelaoye I think in 2014. And when I met her, she was just new. She just came back to Nigeria to be a part of the film industry, and now I see she's doing amazing work. She did a fantastic work in this film. Her role was perfect and she carried that character very well. It helped me follow the story properly because of her character and her emotions and the way she dished out her emotions in this film. So big shout out to the casting team in this film. Now, another thing I want to talk about that I liked about this film is the fact that they went all out. They went all out. When I mean going all out, everything looked grand. It looked like $1 million film. Apparently it is. Well, I don't believe it, but they are saying it is the first $1 million production in Nollywood. I don't believe it, but I believe it, if you get what I mean, But they're saying it's the first $1 million production in Nollywood, and that is a landmark, and that is something we should, applaud them for, because it looked like $1 million project, particularly because of the different locations and the different sets that they used, filming in Lagos, filming in Kaduna, the crowd, the extras that were used, the women that were used, even though some extras were not good extras, particularly in the police station. The guy that RMD fought, the police officer that RMD strangled in the police station, that guy should never be casted as an extra in a film again because he's not such a good actor. But apart from that, I think all the extras were also good. The film looked like $1 million film because of the locations, the large number of cast and the large number of crew and the stunts and the explosions and all this big visual effects that was done in the film. It made it look proper grand. It made it look like $1 million film. So I appreciate that. And I think that is why it is actually trending across the world right now because it looked like not just one small film that was produced in Nigeria. It looked like a proper Netflix investment. I can compare it to the likes of Extraction. I can compare it to the likes of all those big films that Netflix have produced in the past. So I will say that's one of the things that I liked about the film. It looked like $1 million film. Now, let's talk about what I wasn't too impressed with in the film. To be honest, one thing that I will talk about here is that before I made this conclusion, I had to go check and do my research. Then I found out that Aditi Effiong is a first-time director. Now, the last project he worked on, of course, he's been in the industry, maybe working on 1 or 2 projects here and there, but the last project he worked on as a director was a short film, and that was a few years back, and apart from that, the next project he had to get on is this project. Now, one thing I would first of all appreciate him for is the fact that apparently they've been on this project for about 4 years, right? And it's a lot of stress. I'm a filmmaker, so I know the amount of stress that goes into this kind of production, particularly when you have to stop, then try to bring people back and start production again, then stop, then bring people back and start production again. That can be exhausting. So first of all, I want to say big thumbs up to him. And I think he did an amazing work. But unfortunately, I feel like that had a negative impact on the screenplay and the trajectory of the story. My opinion. If you disagree with me, let's have a conversation in the comment section. But I feel like that had some sort of negative impact in the story because there were so many inconsistencies and there were so many things that I was like, it got to a point I was wondering what was going on because it became boring and predictable. The fact that I knew who the villain was from the first maybe 20 or 30 minutes of the film just became he just left a bad taste in my mouth. The fact that I already knew who the bad guy was from the early parts of the film, it just left a bad taste in my mouth, and it now became a race in time to eventually kill this bad guy. We knew he was going to die. There were no cliffhangers, there were no suspense. I mean, it was quite predictable as the film went on. Another thing I didn't like about the story is how they didn't give RM, this character, enough time to grieve the loss of his son or the death of his son. For me, I felt like, okay, one, we only saw him bonding with this boy just twice, and the second time we're seeing him, the boy dies, right? Which is a very, very touching part for me in the story, the way the boy was killed because of course, everything that has happened in Nigeria in the last couple of years. That side where the boy was killed really, really touched me. It got me emotional. It just left me in a bad way, to be honest. Then I wanted this man to grieve. It would have been nice to see him grieve properly. I felt like he didn't grieve the way a Nigerian father who lost his only son will grieve. Of course, they say people grieve differently, people handle situations like this differently and everything, but I feel like because you're telling a story and you want your audience to be very connected and emotionally connected to the story, then you have to find a way to tell it in such a way that it pulls some sort of emotion out of them and they're able to connect with the character. That didn't really happen the way I would have loved it to happen, to be honest, if I'm being honest, but it happened in its own way, so those are parts of the film that really, really got me thinking, okay. And so many things were just happening in the film that I was just wondering. There were characters in the film that I'm wondering, okay, this character, you know what, to be honest, maybe if they had broken this film into a 6-part series and have all these layers of the story and all these twists and turns happen in different episodes, it would have maybe helped the story to be more convincing and have more impact on the audience. You know what I'm saying? Because it allows you as a writer to break it and create some sort of cliffhangers and suspenses at the end of every episode. Then when we get into the new episode, they were breaking into a new layer of the story, but they had to shrink it into a 2 hours 4 minutes film, and I feel like it had a negative impact on the story. To be honest, I feel like it had a negative impact on the story, and to an extent, inexperience in directing. My opinion, inexperience in directing also had its fair share of impact on this film. Because I feel like maybe if it was a case of maybe if this actor was pushed more, maybe if this scene was rearranged more, and some of the shots as well. That was why I said something about the shots earlier, that there are parts of the shots that I wasn't too impressed about, because I feel like if you're telling this kind of story, especially because it's a crime thriller slash action, then you should have camera movements that sort of tell the story for you and helps the audience sort of feel the impact of so many things that happen in the film. Some of the fight sequences, the camera movement in those fight sequences didn't really help. It didn't help the fight to have a good impact on me. Maybe because I love action films and I watch a lot of action films and I see the things they do with action films and their fight sequences. I felt like this didn't happen in this film, you know. But if I was gonna, and I don't want to dwell on some of the things that I didn't like in the film. Here are just a few things that I wasn't too impressed about. But overall, I think it's still a good film. For a first-time watch, The Black Book is a good watch. Is a good film for a first-time watch. But I don't think it has a second-time watch value. I don't think it has a second-time watch value or a third-time watch value. But for a first-time watch, it is a good watch. It is a good film to sit down with friends and family or by yourself on your laptop or your big screen in the house to watch and enjoy, you know, because of the amount of work that was put into the production. I think it was good. And if I was going to rate this film, I would give it a 7. Not a solid 7, but a 7. Naturally, I would maybe shrink back to a 6.5. But I mean, I've seen on Rotten Tomatoes, it has 72% on Rotten Tomatoes. And of course, IMDb gives it 4.8 over 10. 4.8 over 10, then 72% on Rotten Tomatoes. And it has an 83% watch like. So that means 83% of the people that saw this film liked it. So that's a good thing for the film. I also liked it. If I was going to click like, I would click like. If I had the chance to click like on the film, I think I can click like on the film actually on Netflix. So I'm going to go there and click like because I liked the film. But it wasn't spectacular. It wasn't mind-blowing. You know, it didn't throw me off my socks the way Gangs of Lagos did, you know. But it was still a good watch. Now, if you do not agree with some of the things that I said, please, let's have a conversation in the comment section. Let me know what you think. If you want to abuse me in the comment section and let's talk about it. Thank you so much for watching. And here are my personal thoughts on this film, The Black Book. If you haven't seen it, I think you should go watch. You should go and watch it because there are so many amazing things you're going to discover about film, about the Nigerian military, about the NSAS story, about so many things in the Nigerian investigative journalism sector, you know. So you should go and watch it, at least for all those purposes, and of course to have a good time, right? Once again, don't hesitate to subscribe to my channel, to like this video and share with everyone you know. See you next time. Peace.